Hi, I'm Ken Block, and this behind me is my Ford Escort Cosworth Cossie version 2. This car we brought out here in 2019 and started racing it on the Cossie World Tour. And today, we're going to do a nice walk around and show you a ride along on this beautiful test road here in the Swiss Alps. But since I'm a much better race car driver than I am a technical car talk person, I brought in someone special to do that car talking stuff. Mr. Neil Cole, host and comedian.
Thanks, Ken.
An all-around good guy. So, Neil Cole, please take it away.
Amazing. Well, actually, take it away. So this is the Cossie, and if, like me, you grew up in the east of England in Essex, then this was your wide boy car, and they've made it even wider for 2019. Now, if you've been following the Cossie World Tour, you'll know that this was V2. V1 of the Escort Cosworth kind of burnt to the ground last year. And it's obviously triggered some things in the UK because there was a time when the Escort Cosworth was Britain's most stolen car. So I think when people in the UK saw the images of this car burning to the ground, it kind of gave them PTSD because that happened to their cars in the 90s and it was like history repeating itself. But the whole concept of this was rendered in 3D by a guy called Ash Thorpe, and he created something, you know, the kind of thought, oh, that could look good, which gave a huge job to the team at Hoonigan Racing to actually create something that was as wide. So in here, for example, the suspension mounts, they needed to work out how to make this work and accommodate the suspension mounts, and it's the same at the back as well because it was so wide and looked like a spaceship in the CG render. Now, even though this is obviously a Ford, this car never came out in the States. So to a rally fan in the 90s living in the United States, this was like unobtainium. It was like a unicorn. You'd never get your hands on this. So I think that's one of the reasons why Ken was so keen to turn it into a modern rally car. So inside it's a snug fit, of course, naturally, you know, and there isn't a huge amount of room between the roll cage and the door because it's a Escort from 1994, but everything else is incredibly new. And let's have a look at what happens when you switch on the dash. Cosworth, okay, so that's the classic logo. What are you doing, Dave? Yeah, look at that. Lights up, you know exactly where you are. You're in Hoonigan Racing Division, you're in safe hands. So this is the gear lever. I don't know what happens if I... Yeah, I can actually change it into gear. I'm probably not supposed to, but you can watch how the... bang! Bang! It only goes as far as one. I won't do that anymore. And that's the handbrake for taking hairpins, mainly. And just attention to detail. Look at this, custom made carbon fiber with these really nice door pockets for all the stuff that Ken needs. What is that? I shouldn't have seen that. If we pop the hood, you can have a look at what's inside. It's hot and sticky. Wow. Look in here, under the hood, the engine block. It's lightweight aluminium or aluminum. It's really neat and tidy. Nice wiring loom, electronic throttle, 16mm fly-by-wire, and tidy, and that means efficient. You've got 8 modern fuel injectors in there too. Also has a clever ECU. That is the brain of this car. I mean, that's a classic Ford engine, 4 cylinders in line, but because there's lots of new stuff and lots of electric stuff, it's helped have a bit more horsepower. I think currently it's about 380 horsepower, which is pretty tasty considering it's quite a small car. That turbo gets very, very hot. I mean, red hot. You've never seen anything like it, unless you've seen it. It's in another video. If you've seen it, that gets red hot. So that's under the hood. I'll leave that. But up close, you see just how incredible the bodywork is. I mean, the design is outstanding. This solid mold which comes through here, and you know, working alongside Hoonigan Racing Division, MDV Engineering are responsible for this. But look, the sills, everything remolded. This line, this racing line through here, all the way to the back, and then it gets wide, forcing the air as wide as it can. The air goes all the way to here, bang, and the car disappears into the forest. Now let's talk about aero. Aero is very important, and what I love about this is that it has the classic, you only would ever see that on a Cosworth, whether it was the Sierra, the bigger Sierra, or the Escort, but this has been adapted. It's got like little gurney flaps just to make it a little bit more sexy, and that is all molded together as one piece, which is extraordinary. But look down. I mean, that's the kind of thing you see on the back of a single-seater. That's incredible racing rear diffuser. Now, for some events, you would have to put the exhaust through that. But ultimately, that's state-of-the-art, 2019, and again, on a historic rally car. Let's look inside. That's where the last guy who guest hosted an episode is kept. Wow, okay. Fuel, spare tire. Look at that, that's where the suspension mounts come up through the back. But other than that, it's pretty spare. That's the roll cage, you know, to protect you. And if you're sort of sentimental or nostalgic or even superstitious, one thing that's really nice is in the design of this whole thing is death spray actually ground down some of the burnt remains of Cossie V1, and you can feel on this section of the roll cage that it's part of the paint. So it's got some kind of zen. You can feel it. Listen. It's speaking to you. It's like it's living, breathing history of the previous car. Beautiful. You'll notice that the car has a registration plate. That's because they have to be road legal, despite being monsters for competing on rally stages. Between stages, they have liaison sections, which are public roads, so they have to have road legal lights, road legal registration numbers. And look, isn't that cute? I support wildlife. It's a Utah plate in Switzerland. So exhaust-wise, you also have two options, because some events require you by the rules to have the exhaust coming out the back via the rear diffuser. But if you want the full old school 90s WRC Cossie experience, you get the flames out the side exhaust, which you can see is already ripping away the bodywork.
You're not done yet.
No, I'm still talking.
It's time for drive.
There's so much to say.
Your equipment, sir.
Thank you.
Get in the car.
Ah. So do I have responsibility for wash wipers and horn?
Not today.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of buttons here lit up. Do you need to worry about any of them right now?
I hope not.
Let's go through the process. The thumbs up.
We've got the thumbs up.
Okay, what's happening here?
All right, put it in gear. Put the anti-lag in the mode that we want.
Anti-lag.
Handbrake, launch button, full throttle.
Loud.
And we go. Lots of wheel spin.
Whoa, a lot of wheel spin. Fourth gear. Fifth gear, we're going up. Corner, rocks. Big rocks. So handbrake, amazing, amazing. Woo! Close to the wall on that side, big drop on that side. I can feel with the seat of my pants that there is grip, but it's on the edge of grip because it's slippery.
Fifth gear.
Fifth gear, sixth gear, into a low cloud.
I think there's a corner here. Hairpin coming up. Oh my god.
I really didn't think we were going to make that. I mean, look, it's very ridiculous. We're up a mountain, there's low cloud, and we were in 6th gear and a quarter just...
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah, we're in the Alps, so that's not fog. We're actually in a cloud. That's also going uphill, so we have a little more grip. Now we have to go downhill, which is actually faster, but a little less grip, so I have to brake a little bit earlier.
Okay.
How is the sensory overload of the shifting and the acceleration and all that? Does it feel good?
I feel like you're doing most of the work.
But the car itself is sometimes I feel like it's a bit agricultural. It's very rough. It's very raw.
No, from watching it work, it's like a dance. You're busy, but you seem to be in control. I have to believe that you're in control.
All right.
Are we going?
Where are you going? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's see how long this thing lasts out here. Yeah, I'm bringing it in. Oh, downhill is more scary. Much more scary. Fifth gear. We shouldn't be in fifth. Handbrake. Help! Help me! Help! Oh my goodness! Now, I'm presuming you were deliberately scaring me, or was that useful as a test?
No, I mean I've done the stage now 10 times or so, and so I know it. So that was just fun. So, how was that? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I enjoyed it. I think there was a point where a little bit of pee came out.
That happens.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're not on the limit, then you're not pushing.
So you've been in some very good cars, some current WRC cars and that. So how did this experience, this 90s car stack up?
It's my favorite ever.
What?
It's just been incredible.
Wow.
It was an awesome ride. It's so loud, it's so dramatic, and it has that perfect feeling of something full of heritage, but utterly brand new. I felt like you were, 99% in control. Thanks, Ken. That was awesome.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate you coming out and doing this with us.